just get the feeling that Peter Ebdon is going to make Graham Dott scrap for absolutely everything, averaging about half an hour a frame. This is the kind of intense stuff that we did expect from this match, Steve.
Well, yes, I still think that at some stage it's going to blossom into, like, you know, quite a lot of a barrage of breaks, but you just don't know how the ball's go. And obviously one of Peter Ebdon's strengths is that he can play different styles of snooker depending upon how he reads the match proceeding. And Graham Dott's done very well to get his nose in front there and put Peter Ebdon on the back foot.
Your impressions, John?
Very tough. It's what you'd expected. It's similar to the session that Peter had the other day, the first one. That was real tough and grueling stuff, and this is no different. And you know, both of them obviously desperate to get off a decent start. They don't want to get behind in this, and of course sometimes they can counteract each other, and it was hard snooker, that.
It sure was. OK, they're going to have a break. And we're on the final of this World Snooker Championship here at the Crucible. It's been a long time coming, 16 days of play and tension, and we're getting even more tension now because after 4 frames, it's the Scot, Graham Dott, who's established an early 3-frames-to-1 lead over England's Peter Ebdon. There's been a change of shift in the commentary box now as Willie Thorne and Dennis Taylor take over. Good afternoon to you. What do you make of it so far?
Very good afternoon, Hazel. It's tough snooker, and Peter
Ebdon to break.
Well, I suppose 2 each wouldn't have been a bad reflection, but there's a long way to go, so an interesting few frames coming up.
Peter entitled to be the more disappointed of the two, the fact that he had at least 4 chances in the previous frame and only amassed some 48 points, which is unlike Ebdon this week. He's been scoring very heavily indeed. Nasty kick there in that little safety exchange.
It was always going to be a tough session, this, for both players after you get through in a semi-final. Mentally you're fairly drained, but they've both got themselves up again, and well, he felt that was worth the risk. He was nicely on the blue, but you can always leave the red you have a go at, and that's exactly what he's done.
Yes, that shot's fine going for those kind of things. As long as you hit the jaws, you've got every chance of getting away with them. You hit the jaws, but missed it by a long way, and that's the reason the reds come out towards the baulk line. So first chance again for Graham Dott, trying to get on the half-ball blue, and he hasn't quite done that. Not a guaranteed kiss into the pink from this position.
Wasn't a good angle on the blue there to go into the pink, so he looks to have played this pretty well.
6.
1 red he's managed to get himself onto, and there's the angle. So not only has he got to pot the red, but when he cannons the other reds, he'll be hoping to finish on the black. So he needs a lot of top spin on this, and you've got the perfect picture there. Let's just see where the white finishes. In the pocket.
Foul. Graham Dott 6.
And you couldn't envisage
Peter Ebdon 4.
that happening. Like a little trick shot. Has he got an angle here to pot this red and slip past the red that's just to the left of the bunch? If he could do that, he'd take it all and leave himself on the black. Yeah, I think if he just goes a little bit nearer the green with the white, he could take that shot on. He's playing the other one now, and he's trying to get around the back of the black, or avoid the cannon into the black anyway. Well, that was a delicate shot. He tried to hold for the black there. That was very difficult. Just a bit concerned. He wants to take this red on up into the corner pocket and leave himself a chance at the black, but he doesn't want to leave that red that's near the left corner pocket. It's a pretty good effort. Clever shot there, because he's covered this other red, the one I mentioned. The black's blocking the path through to that.
Touching ball. Yeah, ordinary one. Okay.
Touching balls, so he'll have to make sure he covers that one that's near the pocket. He's got a choice of colours, but if he can get somewhere around and in behind the brown, he's got a few balls to cover that. The other option is to get in behind the green, and he would still cover it. So he's got a choice here. Has he gone hard enough? Might just have covered it.
Oh, taking the aggressive safety, and Peter didn't spot the plant.
One.
No acknowledgement of a little shake of the hand to say he
Mr.
was
Mobile's
fortunate
off now,
there,
please.
but does the brown pot in the middle? If it doesn't, he'll have to run up behind the green. He didn't look at this, and there it is, going off 3 different balls. So it's just
Green
the roll
ball.
up behind the green. This is one of those situations where a fluke
Foul.
has probably now cost him the
Free
game
ball.
rather than won him the game, because
He's
he's in
had
trouble
one.
now. He'll be
Green
put
dot
back
four.
in. I can't see any value in the free ball.
Yeah, he's just having a look to see what Peter could play if he puts him back in again. There is an escape on. I know the reds are nicely open, but there is a way out of this. If he comes off there and just lands even on the red that the line's finished on, everything's blocked into the middle pocket. So that's the shot Peter will play if Graham puts him back in again, and that's why Graham's electing to take the free ball.
Yellow.
All depends on the angle he has on the brown.
1. Okay.
It's not dead straight, so he could get on a red, but he'll have to force this a little bit. That's the line the white will take if he plays it with topspin. He'll leave himself on a choice of reds. Well, he's decided to screw it in. Now he's got to take the long pot. Thought he might have played that with topspin.
5.
Willie, and seemed a pretty straightforward shot.
Yes, sorry, Dennis, he's been playing quite well at length, hasn't he? His long game has been quite good in this match, but I agree with you. I'd rather be a lot closer to this than he is at the moment. But he can get round the back of the black from this. The closer you are, though, the easier it is to control the cue ball. Now, has he controlled it perfectly?
6.
He sure has. That's a great shot.
He couldn't have played that any better. Had to get lots of screw on it.
Thirteen.
He does look very determined. You can see the concentration in his eyes and face. Well, he did get to the final 2 years ago. He had a remarkable start against Ronnie O'Sullivan. He won the
21.
first 5 frames.
Okay.
So he's got the experience. 3 finals, or 2 finals in 3 years. Does Graham Dott feel that this is his time?
$22.
Well, undoubtedly that shot now has given him a chance to win the frame at this visit. And I was talking to his coach Derek Hill in the mid-session interval, and he was saying that Graham's practice has actually gone better as the week's gone on. Usually people get a little bit stale in practice and just want to play out on the match arena. So in practice he's been hitting the ball really well. It's common knowledge that Graham's position is not quite
29.
as good as some of the others, but as Dennis has just mentioned, grit and determination, temperament and safety play is up there with the best. If he starts scoring heavier, he will be a tough man to beat.
$30. $35. $36. $41.
It's been a really strange tournament for Graham Dott, as far as that of every 10 frames he wins, he probably wins 1 stroke 2 of those 10 in one visit. The other 8 he's taken a couple of visits. This is a good chance to win one of those frames I was saying in one visit. These are perfect now, and he'll be very disappointed if he doesn't score enough from here. He's already 47 points in front.
choice of reds to drop on here. Got the one to the middle pocket, but a little bit harder. He had two to the other middle
49.
and one into the corner, so it was just leaving himself plenty of options there. And there's the difference, 54, so he's only about 3 pots away from securing this frame.
$50.
So he just needs the blue and one more red to leave Peter needing a snooker.
$55.
And that's the one that leaves Peter
56.
needing a snooker. And it was all brought about by just leaving the white short, just rolling up. He wanted to get as tight to the green as possible, and it's so easy for that to happen where you leave it short, and it's cost him the frame.
Graham Dott, 56.
Well, I said cost him the frame, barring a snooker, but now that he's missed the blue, there's a bit of a chance for Peter Ebdon.
One.
Ideally, obviously, would like to play one of the reds below the pink spot and possibly the one that's nearest the middle, and leave one that's close to the pink spot for the snookering purpose. It's a lot easier to get behind the pink off the last red from where the reds are at the moment. So just take one of these and then leave the other one there if you can. But in saying that, he may
8.
have to move it now with his screw shot. He's finished well short of his desired position.
Peter Ebdon, 8.
I didn't hit that one very well, Peter. And even with all his mental strength, that match against Mark O'Fu must have taken a lot out of Peter Ebdon. 15-9 in front, and to go to a deciding frame does take it out of you. Peter's got to get a black with one of these reds. If he took 2 reds, 2 pinks, he'd only be able to tie with one snooker.
One.
Oh, he really got into that one. Terrific shot there. But as I say, he's got to get on the red up in such a way as he can get the black off it, really. He would have liked to have left this one near the black. In fact, now he might even play the snooker.
7.
not a
Drebden
bad
7.
snooker. The red's out in the middle of the table, although you would think if he come off the right side cushion he'd be very unlucky not to make contact with one of them. The only way he could miss them was if he went in between the reds. Now that would be highly unlikely, you would think. Well, that always helps, doesn't it, Willie?
Yes, Peter's struggling a little bit, and obviously that little run of the ball is not helping here. And he'll do well to hit this and get safe, so Graham may be faced with a pot at his next visit. So two cushion escape, and similar to the last shot that Dennis called, there is a little gap in between them both, but highly unlikely to go in between them. Highly unlikely to hit them like that.
5 in the frame. Graham
Yes,
Dott.
Peter's decided that that's enough, so Graham Dott, with the aid of that 56 break, extends his lead to 4 frames to 1.
Back in just a minute. Now, I'm sure you've been following the progress of artist Jack Russell, former cricketer, of course, for Gloucestershire and England. He's creating a canvas, a scene of the Crucible, which could be hanging on your wall if you watch this. By entering our Sports Relief competition, you could be in with a chance of winning a fantastic limited edition print of Jack Russell's painting of this year's final, plus 2 tickets to see the final of the 2007 World Snooker Championship. There'll also be 3 runners-up prizes of signed copies of Jack's work, and you'll also be helping to raise money for Sports Relief. All you have to do is give us the answer to this question. Who lost in the final of the 2005 World Snooker Championship? Was it A, Steve Davis, B, Stephen Hendry, or C, Matthew Stevens? Tell us your answer by calling 0901 29 32 942 or text the word snooker with your answer to 82125. Texts cost £1 plus your standard network charge. Calls cost £1 from BT landlines. Calls from mobiles and other networks may vary. At least 70 pence from each entry goes directly to Sports Relief, and the competition will close at 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon, and the winners' names will be drawn from all of the correct entries.